right, welcome to part 6. This will be the final part of building our digital app dice application with Google Apps Script. Right now we've got a simple, it's real kind of wireframe dice on the screen. And we're going to talk about, we're going to clean up the project a little bit and talk about CSS. The first thing I'm going to do is actually break off the styles into their own file in our project. So in our kind of app script project, I'm going to create a new HTML file and I'm going to call it styles. I'm going to delete everything that's in there, go back to the index, and I am going to copy everything that is inside this head all the way up to the base. I don't need to bring that over, but I'll just cut that over here into this styles HTML that I made. Let me fix my indentation. I'm going to actually space this down a little bit just to create some room here. I'm going to save that, go back to the index, and I'm going to actually do some templating. And we're going to call this HTML service.create HTML output from file. I'm going to give it that styles HTML. I'm going to call this I think it's get content. Yeah, get content, and then close this templating tag with the question mark bracket. So if you need to know more about HTML templating, I've made a video about that, so please check it out. Now if I save that, I got to do one final thing. You'll notice if I refresh, I'm going to get nothing. So let's go back over to the code, and instead of create HTML output from file, I'm going to create template from file, and this is something that needs to be evaluated. Whoa. Evaluate, and go ahead and save that, and now we should have what we started with. There we go, perfect. Basically, all that does is make everything a little cleaner for us to work with. Now, like I said, this is just a big wireframe. I want to change a couple of things here. When I randomize this, I have my text in the top left corner. I think I want to center that and then kind of move it into the middle. And that is something that is 200 pixels high, so I'm going to target it by container .die, and I've made it I forget what am I inserting in there? Is it an H1? In fact, the way we'll figure it out, let me go back over to this. If I right-click and click on Inspect, in my developer console, I could actually figure out a little bit more about what I'm doing here. So it's just, I didn't even put it inside of anything at all. So I'm just going to target this div of die, and I actually already have a CSS rule for that. So I'm going to text align center, and I think it would be line height 200 pixels. Let's save that and see what happens. I'm going to kind of move my console over a little bit. There we go. Now I got my text in the middle. I think I want that to be bigger. Let's do font weight. Let's make it twice as big. 2EM is like EM is a CSS sizing. It's like emphasis, I believe. Oh, that didn't change it at all. Oh, it's not font weight, it's font size. Sorry. Font size. Now let's add some color, actually. I want to add color to the background, to this whole main, let's add a background color. And to get the colors, you can actually, there's some basic colors you can type in, red, blue, you can type in light blue, things like that. But to get kind of a wider color palette, I'm going to just go over to Google and type in color picker. And Google has a built-in way of choosing colors here. You've got, I forget what the actual size of the palette is, but I think it's in the millions. You got millions of different colors. I'm going to go some kind of real matted yellow. Let's do that. And let's put that into our CSS. Background color, I'm just going to copy paste that in. Let's save that. And then one final thing, the border, nope, sorry, a couple final things. These corners, I think they should be more rounded to look more like dice. I'm going to, instead of border radius 5 pixels, I'm going to up that to 25 pixels. And on the container itself, I'm going to actually add a box shadow, make it look like it's lifted up a little bit. Now, I'm going to show you another cool thing with the developer console because I can't remember all of the rules of box shadow. Because you see, I think it's like you've got a number of pixels for X, a number of pixels for Y, then you've got the blur radius or something, I can't remember. And then you have to add a color at the end. So I just put in the values. Let's refresh this page, and I'm going to show you a cool little feature of the developer console. Oh, that yellow isn't right. I want the yellow to be the whole thing. I'm going to fix that first because that's distracting. Background color, I want to add that. Let's take it off of the main and let's put it on the body. All right, perfect. There we go. That's a little bit better. Now, that shadow, I don't like the way that it should be on the dice, on just the die itself. So let's fix that. Let's move this over here, save, and refresh. All right, that's better. Now, I don't really like the look of that box shadow, so let's come over to the developer console. I've highlighted that element right here, and let me try to get this to a better sizing. So I've highlighted the element, the die, the div with class of die, and if I look down, I can see the styles that I've given it. I can even turn off and on various styles. Now I want to mess with the box shadow, and you'll notice to the left of the 2 pixel, 2 pixel, 2 pixel gray, I've got a little button I can click, and this actually allows me to real-time modify those things. I could inset the shading. Oh, and actually I like the inset. That's got a good look to it. Yeah, I actually really like that inset. Now I'm going to actually change the color a little bit. Let's lighten that color. And yeah, that's fine. And I'm going to even add a rule right here in the console, and I'm just going to call it background color white. Perfect. Now, yeah, I like the way that looks a lot better. Okay, so now I can just take these two rules that I've added. I can Control-C, take them over right into my CSS, paste them, and I should be able to refresh. And those rules are actually a part of it now. Perfect. And everything should still work. Now, why is it? I've got now. I have a little something showing up here at the bottom. Now I'm going to mess around with that. There's a little, I'll fix that code up. But I just wanted to talk about CSS and styling in this video. Hopefully I've given you some ideas of how you can use CSS. The project as a whole will be on GitHub. Please kind of fork it and then pull it in, mess with the code, modify it, figure out how you can use these kind of digital app dice to do some app smashing in your own classroom, or maybe you have a totally different direction you want to take this project. And please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from teachers and the ideas that they have for making these kinds of projects with code. So cheers everyone, and teachers can code.